Thomas Paine was one of the most influential figures of the American Revolution. His writings, which articulated ideas of liberty, democracy and independence, played a pivotal role in shaping the revolutionary spirit that led to the founding of the United States. Paine's legacy continues to influence political thought today, particularly in the areas of individual rights, social justice and government reform. This article explores his life, his most significant contributions to political thought, and the lasting impact of his work on both the American Revolution and world history. Thomas Paine was born on January 29, 1737, in Thetford, Norfolk, England. His father, Joseph Paine, was a Quaker who worked as a farmer and corset maker, while his mother, Frances, was a homemaker. Paine's early life was marked by struggle. He received a minimal formal education, attending local schools intermittently, but his intellectual curiosity led him to self-educate through reading and exposure to political and philosophical ideas. At the age of 19, Paine became an apprentice to his father, but he found little satisfaction in this trade. Instead, Paine pursued a variety of occupations, including working as a teacher, a sailor, and even as a writer for a local magazine. His early career was far from successful, and by 1774, Paine found himself in financial distress. In the same year, he emigrated to the American colonies, seeking new opportunities for success and a fresh start in life. Upon arriving in the American colonies, Paine struggled to find his footing. However, he soon became involved in the political and social debates that were brewing in the American colonies. The issue of independence from Britain was a pressing concern, and Paine's interest in political philosophy began to flourish. In the years following his arrival, Paine found himself drawn to the idea of a republic governed by the consent of the people, rejecting the monarchy and aristocracy that dominated Europe. His background in England gave him a unique perspective on the political struggles in America. Paine was deeply critical of the British monarchy and its oppressive control over the colonies. He believed that the time had come for the American colonies to break free from British rule and form their own independent republic. Paine's writings would soon reflect these ideas, and he would become one of the most important political writers of the period. In 1776, Thomas Paine published his most famous and influential pamphlet, Common Sense. This work was not only a rallying cry for independence, but also a scathing critique of monarchy and hereditary rule. Paine argued that America's connection to Britain was unnatural and unjust, claiming that the colonies had the right and the duty to declare independence and create a government that was representative of the people. Common Sense struck a powerful chord with the American public. Its clear and accessible language made complex political ideas understandable to a wide audience. Paine's pamphlet challenged the conventional wisdom of the time, urging the American colonists to reject the idea of monarchy and embrace the possibility of self-governance. It was incredibly influential in galvanizing public support for independence, and it is estimated that over 500,000 copies of the pamphlet were distributed in the months following its release, an extraordinary number for that time. The success of Common Sense was immediate and profound. Paine's persuasive arguments helped shift public opinion in favor of independence, and his pamphlet is often credited with helping to catalyze the Continental Congress's decision to declare independence from Britain. Paine's rhetoric made it clear that the colonies had the right to chart their own course, and that a republican form of government would be more just and effective than a monarchy. After the success of Common Sense, Paine's influence continued to grow. In December 1776, as the American Revolution was in full swing, Paine began writing The American Crisis, a series of pamphlets aimed at bolstering the morale of the American soldiers and citizens who were enduring the hardships of war. Paine's famous opening line, "These are the times that try men's souls," became one of the most iconic phrases associated with the American Revolution. In The American Crisis, Paine made an impassioned case for perseverance in the face of adversity. He urged Americans not to give up, even when defeat seemed imminent. The pamphlets were designed to inspire resilience and unity among the colonists, and they played a critical role in sustaining the revolutionary cause during difficult times. Paine's ability to frame the revolution in terms of universal principles of liberty and freedom resonated deeply with the American people, and his words became a source of strength and motivation during the war. Paine's influence extended beyond his writing. He was actively involved in the revolutionary cause. He served as a secretary to the Committee for Foreign Affairs in the Continental Congress, and he played a role in negotiating with France and other European nations for support during the war. Although his role was not as prominent as other founding fathers, Paine's writings were instrumental in shaping the ideology of the revolution. While Paine was a fierce critic of monarchy and aristocracy, he was also an advocate for democracy and republicanism. He believed that government should be a reflection of the will of the people, and he championed the idea of a government that would protect the natural rights of individuals. Paine was not just interested in securing American independence, he also wanted to reshape the very nature of government itself. Paine's book, The Rights of Man, published in 1791, is one of his most important contributions to political thought. In it, Paine argued for the natural rights of individuals and the need for governments to be accountable to the people. He rejected the idea that governments should be based on divine right or the privilege of birth, advocating instead for a government that derived its power from the consent of the governed. Paine's ideas in The Rights of Man laid the groundwork for later democratic movements and helped to shape the political discourse of the French Revolution, as well as the broader global struggle for human rights and democracy. After the American Revolution, Paine's political activism did not wane. In the 1790s, he traveled to France, where he became involved in the French Revolution. He was an enthusiastic supporter of the revolutionaries' efforts to overthrow the monarchy and establish a republic. Paine was elected to the French National Convention, where he served as a delegate, though he was often at odds with more radical factions of the revolution. Paine's involvement in the French Revolution took a dramatic turn when he was imprisoned in 1793. He was arrested by the French authorities, who were suspicious of his moderate views and his opposition to the execution of King Louis XVI. Paine was held in prison for nearly a year, and his health deteriorated during this time. Despite his imprisonment, Paine's commitment to the principles of liberty and equality remained strong. In 1794, after being released from prison, Paine returned to America. However, by this time his reputation had begun to suffer. His outspoken criticisms of both the British monarchy and the French Revolution had alienated many of his former allies. Paine's later works, including The Age of Reason, which criticized organized religion, further tarnished his public image. He became increasingly isolated, and his financial situation worsened. Paine died on June 8, 1809, at the age of 72, in relative obscurity and poverty. Despite his earlier fame, he was not widely mourned in America, where his views on religion and his support for the French Revolution had made him a controversial figure. However, Paine's legacy would eventually be recognized, and his contributions to political thought would be celebrated in the years following his death. Thomas Paine's ideas and writings left an indelible mark on both the American Revolution and the broader history of political thought. His passionate advocacy for liberty, democracy, and individual rights helped to shape the foundations of the United States. Paine's work also inspired revolutionary movements around the world, from the French Revolution to the struggles for independence in Latin America. Though Paine was often a polarizing figure during his lifetime, his ideas about freedom, equality, and the right of people to govern themselves have remained central to political discourse. Today, Paine is remembered as one of the most important political thinkers of the 18th century, and his works continue to inspire advocates for democracy and human rights. In conclusion, Thomas Paine's life and writings stand as a testament to the power of ideas in shaping history. His contributions to the American Revolution, his advocacy for democratic government, and his unwavering belief in the rights of individuals have left a lasting legacy. Paine's writings, particularly Common Sense, The American Crisis, and The Rights of Man, remain essential texts for anyone seeking to understand the foundations of modern democratic thought and the struggle for freedom around the world. If you are enjoying this content and want more, please like and subscribe.